Welcome back to Sisters at Our Best. Today's video is going to be how to save on your trip and still have a great vacation. You do not have to be a backpacker. You do not have to stay at a hostel to actually save money on your vacation. This video is not sponsored because girls, I don't have it like that, okay? So I'm letting you know in advance. I'm mentioning all these companies, but they ain't paying me to do this, okay? This is just the companies that I use. These are the tips that I've picked up over my years of traveling. I've traveled solo to Europe. I have done 3 countries there. I've gone back to Italy for 2 weeks. I did from the south to the north of Italy. And I've done the States, I've traveled, and I just want to give you some tips and tricks that can help you to realize your dreams, because honestly, as a poor child, okay, coming from Jamaica, raised by a single mom, child of 9 kids, I did not expect to actually be traveling. Also a single mother currently, I did not expect to be traveling as much as I do and to be even able to afford to travel the way that I do. So let's jump into it. Oh, by the way, if you like this video, at the end of the video, please subscribe, please like. It really helps me. It just tells me that I'm doing the right thing and that like you're actually enjoying my content. So let's jump into this video. Tip number 1 is to find a cheaper flight. Now, you might think going to the regular airline to actually go like to Air Canada, WestJet, United, or whoever you're flying with, to go to their site, you're going to get the best deal, but actually, no, you don't. By going to a site like Cheapflight.ca or Cheapflights.com, you get to see all the cheaper flights available online at that moment in time. This changes constantly because there are so many airlines and so many people selling trips that it literally updates within seconds of you looking at a price. So what I do is I put in my destination on Cheapflights.ca. I put in the date that I want to leave, and I'm flexible with my date. And I put that into the system. It's going to give you all the cheap flights that are available at that time. Now, you might think, okay, book through wherever the cheap flight is, which is like Cheap Air or other flights like that. I don't do that. I don't go use sites like that. What I do next is, once I see that there's a cheap flight, so let's say I look, it tells me Air Canada is the cheapest or Lufthansa is the cheapest flight. I leave Cheapflights.ca and I go to Lufthansa or Air Canada and I see if the flight or if the price is exact. When I see that the price is the same, sometimes I call in, because sometimes when you call in, you can even get a better deal than if you were to book the one online. And at other times, that's the cheapest deal that you can get. And I book my flight through the actual airline that I'm flying with. Now, why do I do that? Recently, I've had a coworker who wanted to go to the Netherlands, and her mom, they booked their trip. Well, they booked their trip with a cheaper airline through a third-party website, but that airline subsequently went bankrupt. It took forever to get the money back. Thank goodness one of them used their credit card to actually pay for the trip, so they were able to use the credit card insurance to actually get refunded for the flight. But they actually had to wait until it was the time to fly, so the actual date that they were leaving, before they can even start their claim to get their money back. So basically, they paid, let's say, $900 to go. Actually, in her case, she had her 3 kids with her, so yeah, so it was a lot of money. Basically, it was almost $3,000, but she had to wait until it was the time for her to fly for her to even get her money back, which after that took an extra 2-3 months. And her mom still hasn't gotten back her money because the company went bankrupt. So I like to fly with major airlines, and I want to book through a major airline, and I want to make sure that I still use my credit card, because I do use my credit card when it comes to travel. But I still use that credit card when it comes to travel because I get cash back, put cash back on that purchase, and I can use it towards the rest of my trip. Number 2 is how to find cheaper hotels without staying in a hostel. Now, you can do like some and do an Airbnb, but I am a hotel girl. I'm sorry, I love hotels. I enjoy the convenience of a hotel. I like having my bed made when I get back to my room. I like having clean towels, clean sheets when I get back. It's just something that I really enjoy. And so what I do is when it comes to hotels, I use Hotels.ca or Hotels.com. Why do I use this service? Because I've used them for years. I've never had a problem. I walk into the hotel, they have my booking information, everything is exactly the way I want it. But also, when you book through Hotels.ca, after 10 night stays, you get 1 free night stay with the based on the average of the prices that you've paid for your trip. So you can get, like, let's say you spent $150 every time, you'll get a $150 room for nothing. So they give you after 10 stays, you get your 11th stay free, which is really good for me because I love taking random trips in the middle of the year where I go up north or whatever it is that I want to do. I like to take those trips to just get away from life, even if it's for a weekend. So I use that extra day towards that. The next thing I do is I don't just trust Hotels.ca right away. What I do is after I find a hotel that I like and the price is good and everything is good, it comes with breakfast, I'm happy, I go to TripAdvisor. When I go to TripAdvisor, I want to see what the reviews are on the hotel. I want to see the people who stayed there recently. I want to make sure that the pictures that the guests have taken are as crisp and clean as the ones on the website, because the website is the best that they got. But when people go and stay there, I want to make sure that there's no rust everywhere, it's not run down because those pictures were taken years ago. I want to make sure that the room is still nice. Number 3 is how to manage your activities and transportation. Now, this can get expensive. So for me, when I travel to any country, public transportation is usually what I take. If not, Uber is the next option. But honestly, public transportations are great, especially in Europe. They set up so well for public transportation. So I'm like, yeah, I'm taking the bus, taking the train, taking the metro, whatever it takes, because it is set up for travelers. Now for activities. I don't book in using a third party. I go directly to the site's website because most of the time they have a better deal, and honestly, better than tours, better than anything that you can possibly do. In Italy, I went everywhere in Italy, but honestly, I did not use third party. I booked directly through the actual monument. If I was going to the Colosseum, when I was going to the Colosseum, I booked directly. I skipped all the lines. I booked through the Colosseum. I paid less than everyone else. I got the same audio equipment. I was able to go do the Pantheon for like inexpensive, I'll tell you that. And it was for 2 days, and it was straight access for 2 days. And people were joining tours and all kinds of stuff and dealing with crowds and dealing with people, and I was like, nope. I went to the site, I saw what I wanted to see, I did what I wanted to do, I listened to what I wanted to listen to, and then I left. So I was able to really enjoy my trip based on my own schedule, which is super important to me. Lastly, bonus tip is to just look at other travelers. Other travelers will be able to tell you how to do things, right? So if you don't know how to take the metro, if you don't know how to take the train, if you don't know what sites to visit, look at the reviews of the site. Look on TripAdvisor, because they really do give you all the information, because you have people who are just like you, who did it for the first time, and they're just leaving you some tips and tricks that can help you. So those are my 3 tips. So tip number 1 is to find how to find a cheaper flight by using third-party sites, but actually booking through the actual airline that you're flying with. Number 2 is how to find that better hotel, and going through Hotels.ca, but also just looking at how much it actually costs for you to stay in that room, and to actually look at the quality of the room that you're staying in. And number 3, figuring out your activities and your transport and using public transportation, but also booking through the site that you're going to see. Does that make sense? That was a mouthful. So anyways, that's my video for today. I hope that you enjoy it. I make videos every Thursdays, and I am so happy that you're here joining me. If you have any other tips and tricks that you want to share, just leave it in the comment section. I'm telling you, as fellow travelers, we would want to know them. Anyways, I'm out.